I think Bellingham bands have as much opportunity. They have to work harder for it, and they'll never be on MTV, but I don't see any of them wanting to be on MTV necessarily.
It's easier to grow here, I think, you know. It's easier to be really bad for a while and then get really good here. There's room for that.
Yeah, getting started is a lot easier in Bellingham, I think. Just because you don't drown in all the thousands of bands.
Yeah.
The opportunity to get signed for $1 million isn't up here, but most bands just up here just want to play for fun.
They just want to play
at the 3B.
Yeah.
To go out and play music, you don't have to have a press kit. You don't have to sell yourself to a club representative like you would have to in some major city. So, in a way, I think it's kind of easier here because you can just call somebody up and say, I want to book a show with a couple bands. Do you have any open dates? And they're like, okay.
As a beginning band, we've got a amazing couple of bars to play at, and we've got a local rock and roll magazine, What's Up, that support young upcoming bands, which I think is really unusual. It doesn't happen in many towns.
So like if you put a little band together, you got some guy in a shoebox and another guy in a lampshade, you know, and you throw some wigs on, you can go down, you can get a show at the 3B and your friends will show up and everybody's like, yeah, throwing beer on you or whatever. In
Bellingham, you could actually be a band, build a following, and be able to headline your own shows and play your own shows and put on your own shows. Whereas Seattle, it's hard to get a good show, or bigger city, unless you already have a following or you know somebody in the band that will let you open for them.
You might make it rich or whatever in LA or Seattle, but I don't know, that's not why you play music in Bellingham. You would be that in LA or Seattle. You have more opportunities to meet cool people and play shows, doing what you want to do here. If you're in LA or Seattle or anything like that, you have to be doing what's cool there.
You also have the added bonus of like the big fish in the little pond. You can be a legend in your own lunchtime in Bellingham. It's like, ow!
You have a couple of great shows, and then you break up and form a new band.
It's like a 24 hours a day, like watching Slacker.
It's easy to become a big Bellingham band. I don't know how easy it is to become a big band if you're in Bellingham.
It's all about what you put into it.
Yeah, you got to make your own opportunities and tour and go places, and I don't know. It's all a crapshoot, really.
You got to work really hard to come out of this town and go anywhere besides big in this town.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in Bellingham, but it is harder to make the transition into like a bigger venue, but it's all about the hard work,
That's something that I always think about, like if I were to just move to Seattle, like could I just put together a band and then like play a show when we'd only just started playing together just to see what people think. And it seems like if people came to see you at all, which the few times I've played in Seattle, nobody's come to see us except for our close friends that drove down from Bellingham, or something like that. Even my friends that live in Seattle didn't come to see us. So
when you hang out on a regular basis with everyone that is involved with making the music happen, it's inevitable that if you show an interest, you'll get that opportunity, which you can't really say in a bigger city. I mean, because you're fighting against hordes of other people that have the same idea.
You don't have to be from the major populace like you did at the end of the 80s. Or before that, where it did matter where you lived.
With the internet and everything, I mean, your access to everything else is the same being here as it is in Seattle, in a way. I mean, maybe not to the clubs specifically, but to people in general. I mean, a band on the internet from Bellingham is the same as a band on the internet from anywhere.
We definitely could go to those other cities. And I think we all have the same options. Anyone can go to LA.
For the most part, yeah.
South. I think. I mean, maybe I'm assuming too much. Some of us are on house arrest. We're not really stuck here. We just want to pretend we are. You really turn me on. A knockout
and things were getting heavy. I don't remember how you looked the other way. Innocent bystanders throwing paper airplanes, blowing things, blowing clothes and wedding rings. The secret was
The more you get out of Bellingham, the more you appreciate Bellingham. I think that's the, people like stir and go, bitch about it.
And the people that play this place too, they love it. I mean,
of course,
it's our goal to take them out and entertain them.
the more you get out of it. And it's just kind of one of those places that you can really sort of get your hand on. It's like downtown isn't that big, but we do have like amenities like record stores and a great newsstand and some good places to eat and a couple great bars and everything, and it's like we have just enough to be like a great city. Sometimes I think it'd be great if we had this and that, but we have enough. There's a lot of stuff here that just make the city kind of metropolitan without being overrun.
I like the farmers market. I like the movies outside.
Yeah, independent film's great. I kind of like the mountains.
The mall.
Yeah. And you never have to walk more than 2 blocks to get a burrito in this town.
That's a fine thing.
That's a good thing.
I'm not gonna lie, it's cheap, alright? It's a cheap place to live. You know what I mean? You can work part-time and survive.
It's cheap.
Yeah, and you got, happy hour, you can get a pint of Bush for $1 at the 3 Man. It's so great, I love dollar beer. Dollar beer is another reason I love Bellingham. I gotta admit.
I love Bellingham, man. I don't want to leave.
No, I'm not gonna move.
Bellingham.
There's nowhere. I bought a house here, man. It's a done deal.
Yeah. I got a storage unit.
Yeah. I got to pay storage unit.
I got responsibility.
It's the few and the proud of us that stay stuck here forever. I don't know why.
It's a black hole. Can't leave.
Can't leave. There's this curse that if you leave Bellingham, you can't find happiness anywhere else. So like everybody always comes back to Bellingham.
That's fucked. I haven't heard that. Just all too unmotivated to leave town permanently. So we're all just gonna stick here.
I'm doing my damnedest to bust out of this trap, but we'll see. Cause I'm weak too.
The curse.
I'm no better than any of the rest of you guys.
Yeah. You're as lazy as the rest of us.
If not more so.
I was talking with this Vietnam vet. We were getting stoned one time and driving a truck full of garbage out to the dump, and I was like, "Fuck, it's so gray outside." He's like, "Man, do you notice how many colors of pink and blue are in gray?" And I was like, and I was high, and I just made so much sense. So I was like, "Oh, it's really pretty." But seriously, it's your perspective, And I didn't get that from Prozac.
Just happened there?
Oh, dude! I think it's a good example. I'm serious.
It's a fantastic example.
If you don't have a good perspective, then you better be on a strong prescription. All my friends are here. My band's here. Everybody, it's a great town. I love the area. I love the scene. I love the music scene. I love all the support we've gotten, and mostly my best friends who I play music with are here. So why would I move?
Likewise. I know. It's.
Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off.
Turn the camera off. Once I finish school, the only reason I'm going to stay here is because of the music, probably. Friends that I've made while I was here, mostly through music.
Yeah, besides that, it's just beautiful. Got the water, the sound in the mountains, and forests, everything. You're close to Canada, close to Blaine.
The setting, it's a beautiful place. Especially since the mill closed and we don't have that weird sort of boiled hot dog stink around town anymore.
I don't know where you're gonna find such a level of comfort and natureness as well as city fun and friends and support.
And I feel like I have, you know, some sort of roots or support system here that like is more important than, you know, I can't think of anything more important than that. I'm afraid if I were to go somewhere else, like I might have the means to do something else, but I wouldn't have the inspiration anymore.
You can stay off the radar and maintain a low level of responsibility and still be alive and pay the bills. That's all college taught me to want. It didn't mean to, but that's what it did. So
the artistic peoples of Bellingham haven't been like suppressed like they have in other places by the up and coming urban professionals. I think just like there's a lot of towns where even like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer, like maybe had some pretty cool shit going on, but then like just business, you know, moved them out of the way, out of the area.
It makes me happy to be a musician in this town. So when we're not doing anything, I can actually feel like, well, shit, I'm not just poor and drunk, but I'm also a musician.
It gives you that kind of peace.
Yeah, I could be like, I'm a very poor but professional musician who's not very professional at all. But it definitely gives you
paid beer professional.
Yeah, hell, sure. Yeah. In this town, that's your whole paycheck.
This place actually supports it pretty well. There's some sort of a common denominator.
The net for weirdos.
Yeah, but also with the business community too. Like they're not totally alienating those people.
You don't have to like, you like fall asleep on the street walking home from a bar in Brooklyn could be a bit of a problem. You know what I mean? But like doing that here, it's like, when I first moved here, I used to go to sleep on the way home all the time. Because who cares? You know, the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to wake up a little cold in the morning. You know, just be like halfway home and be like, fuck it. I'm just going to fucking go to sleep right here. And just, I mean, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Because you could walk that bum, you know, actual citizen line here. And kind of like...
The line between bum and citizen.
Yeah, fall down all over it, you know?
It's out. There's always new people coming in and out. So I forgot what the question was. But.
It's pretty. It's clean. There's animals like raccoons and deer in my yard all the time. All the time. There's Dave's got squirrels in his yard. That's pretty kick-ass. I like the fact that like raccoons come to my house and eat my cat food. And have sex.
See, Chris give you the sideways. Yeah, I don't know about that. Chris is not so sure.
Yeah, he's not.
He's
like
is that what that damn thing was?
Raccoons shit on my bed when I lived there, and I'm still reeling from that. I thought it was cat food, and so I played with it. See, where else can you get raccoon shit on your bed?
It was obvious right away that pretty much everyone in the Bellingham music scene really loved to be here and be involved. It was fun to get together and get to know so many of the bands during the interviews.
But the reality of it is, we still can't define what makes this music scene unique. Maybe it is the constant change, maybe it's the climate, or maybe it's the isolation. But whatever it is, we're glad to be here and to be a part of it.